Hey guys, my name is Seth, and I thought I'd just make some tier lists for like each character's matchups in Team Fortress 2 because this is something that's always fascinated me. I like it about Smash Brothers, like just the fact that like different characters have different matchups depending on who's who. But I'm just gonna get right into it. We're starting with Scout. For these characters, I'm just gonna put like their matchup with themselves in their own tier because it's almost always an even matchup when you're fighting yourself, unless like they've got like some loadout that's like specifically designed to counter you. But I think Scout's matchup with himself is even. I think every class has an even matchup with themselves, like in a 1v1 scenario, obviously. So I'm just gonna put Scout up here because it's his list. So obviously the hard counter to Scout is Engineer. Scout's main ability being really fast and hard to hit. When the sentry gun is designed to never miss a shot, obviously it'll mess up Scout pretty bad. There's almost nothing Scout can do against sentries unless whittle it down from a distance. And even then, sentries are usually put in spots like designed like around like not being able to be hit from a large distance. What I'm trying to say is basically engineers just have a lot of ways to work against scouts, and they're the hardest counter to scout there is. They're the only class I'm going to put in the hard counter for scout. Um, I'd say soldier is a pretty decent counter against scout in general. Scout does have a good chance against a soldier, but most of the time, like the splash damage just is inescapable if a soldier really does place his shots well. And you don't even have to hit scout. You can hit him twice and he dies. Even less if you're like marked for death or you have the Sandman. Just one rocket's enough to kill you. Soldier, really good damage, really good splash damage. There's pretty much nothing you can do against Soldier sometimes, but I mean you can kill Soldier pretty well if you sneak up on him. But yeah, Soldier has a pretty good chance of killing you. Now I'd argue Sniper's an even matchup because you are extremely hard to hit, but Sniper like will one shot you, charge or no charge, 100% of the time. One full charge body shot will kill you. Yeah, it depends on the sniper skill level. I'd actually say sniper has a good matchup against pretty much everybody. Um, but he's a whole other can of worms we'll get to later. But I'd say he's an even matchup with scout. I'd say he has a bit of an advantage over a heavy because you're so fast you can outmaneuver him. You can really get up in his face and just throw his aim off. But he's pretty tough, hard to kill. If you're at medium distance and he sees you first, you're most likely gonna die against a heavy. Heavy, I think, is the most dangerous a class to approach head on, and heavy will pretty much always win against you if he knows you're coming. But I'd say scout's really good at flanking. Heavy's really prone to being flanked, so naturally, yeah, heavy dies pretty fast to scout. And I'd say that Scout has a pretty good advantage against the Pyro too. Afterburn is pretty dangerous against Scout because his health is so low. So you really do have to distance yourself well unless you sneak up on him and get the first shot. I'm tempted to put Pyro in even, but I honestly do think that Scout has a high advantage against Pyro, just because, yeah. But Pyro can kill Scouts pretty easily. It's just a little more difficult, and a flare will always kill you, even though it's hard to hit. But yeah, I'd say Pyro versus Scout is in Scout's favor. I'd say, well, every class hard counters medic, let's be real, but I'm just going to put him in advantage anyways, just because the medic will always be with somebody else, and if he's not, he will die. You will kill a medic unless he gets like a crit uber saw, which is pretty common, unfortunately. Remove random crits. But I'm going to, like, for every class, I'm probably just going to put medic in an advantage in this tier, just because everybody can kill him better than he can kill you. But like a medic is almost always with like a soldier or a heavy or a demo or something. So if that's the case, then they're probably gonna kill you before you can kill the demo or soldier or heavy. But yeah. Anyways, I'd say Scout also has a pretty good advantage against Spy, if only for his speed. He can quickly like feel around the room and like bump into Spy pretty easily. It actually surprises me sometimes when a Spy outmaneuvers me as a Scout and backstabs me. But yeah, Spy can't catch up to you to stab you. He can't really do anything, honestly, sometimes. You just run away from him or you bump into him and kill him. Honestly, it's a pretty heavy. I might put him down here, but I actually think the strongest advantage that Scout has is against Demo Man, just because Demo Man has a hard time hitting you. Demo Man, like if you're skilled enough, if the Demo Man is skilled enough, he will kill you pretty dang fast. Or if you're smart with your sticky placement, sort of like Soldier, but like way easier to kill. But yeah, no, Scout has the best matchup against like the class with the highest damage output in the game, so I think that's pretty insane. But yeah, it's Scout hard counters Demo. So the next class we're going to be doing is Soldier. I'm going to put him up here just like I did with Scout. His matchup with himself is even. Um, Looking at this, I can't really think of a hard counter to Soldier. Soldier's just such a generalist that he doesn't really have that many weaknesses at all that other classes can exploit. But I'd say Sniper is pretty close to his hard counter, just because like honestly Sniper counters everybody pretty dang well. But just like he can just one shot you from across the map, dude. That's obviously just the Soldier. Like you want to get up there, you want to like distance yourself, but also be close. And Sniper can just easily kill him outside of his range. But Soldier can spam him out, but even freaking Sniper, he just does everything against everybody too well. But yeah, the hardest counter Soldier has, I'd say, is Sniper. Um, Actually, no. Heavy's pretty good against Soldier too, just because he can throw you off while you're rocket jumping. He's the only class with more health and firepower than you. Um, so it's a little scary to face a heavy, and you will probably waste all your rockets and then be vulnerable to whoever else is nearby while trying to kill heavy. I don't know if he's up here. I don't know if Sniper's up here either. He might be. Um, Crud. Should I put him up? No, I'll keep him down here. Just because I think Soldier's so versatile, he doesn't really have like a class that hard counters him. And vice versa, I don't really think that he hard counters anybody too hard. Um, like I'm gonna put Scout down here. I explained this earlier. Like Scout and Soldier. Soldier has an advantage against Scout just because the splash damage can hit him so easily and just kill him so fast. But yeah, I already talked about this one. Scout's down here. I don't know if he's even with anybody. Probably Soldier, or probably Pyro. I mean, sorry, Soldier. That's Pyro. Pyro can honestly go up here. Like slight disadvantage, just because he can be so hard to hit if he's real air blast happy. But Pyro you can kill pretty fast if you get the flank, if you get the bomb. Pyro can also kill you pretty dang fast, because air blast is pretty insane on rockets. Its demo doesn't really struggle with air blast as much as Soldier does. But Pyro can completely shut down some soldiers. Yeah, I'm gonna put him up here, like just kind of a soft counter right here. I'm still thinking about this. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't think Sniper quite hard counters, so well he might. I don't know. Just let me know what you think. I'll leave him here. Um, I want to put Demo Man in even because just they're both splash damage classes. They both can kill each other in 2 clean shots, depending on the weapon. Sticky bombs are pretty dangerous. Grenades are really dangerous. But yeah, Soldier, Demo, I'd say they're pretty even. I don't know about Spy. He's either here or here. I'd probably put him here because splash damage can reveal him pretty well. But also, no, yeah, Spy, you're a pretty big target for the Spy. So spies are going to usually go for you, and you're slow, so Spy can catch up to you. And, yeah, they're just easy to hit. They're easy to catch out. It's nowhere near what Pyro can do to shut down a Spy, but Soldier has the splash damage is pretty good at revealing him. And I'm going to put Medic here, like I said with last class. This is pretty self-explanatory. Universal. Really depends on who the Medic's with. And I'd say he has an advantage against Engineer. The splash, so does Demo, but we'll talk about him in a minute. Yeah, Soldier obviously is well equipped to deal with sentry guns and can hit like the whole nest, honestly. Especially if the sentry gun is like out in the open and you can see it. You're like the first, you're like the go-to for that kind of thing. They explain that he's like the best anti-sentry class, like if it's like from long range. But Yeah, no, Soldier has some pretty balanced matchups. I'd say Sniper is the closest thing to a hard counter he has. But yeah, obviously the jack of all trades class is naturally just does have pretty good matchups everywhere. Just pretty balanced matchups, pretty even character. So moving on to Pyro, I'm gonna get something out of the way real quick. Everybody knows Pyro counters Spy. If one flame particle hits you as Spy while you're invisible or disguised, you're just dead, dude. All eyes turn to you, you're gone. Just deleted from the server. Freaking, it's insane. It's honestly a little unfair how hard Pyro counters Spy, but I think it's good to have hard counters in this game. And it's just one of the things that keeps Spy in check because of how powerful his ability is to backstab and insta kill anybody in the game. But yeah, Pyro hard counters Spy pretty damn hard. But yeah, um, I'd say Engineer hard counters Pyro. He could honestly be here, but I think here, like, if you get the jump on his sentry gun, like, and outmaneuver its like tracking, then you can kill it pretty easily. But that's rare, and the only way Pyro is really gonna deal with a sentry gun is by being Ubered and just going crazy. But yeah, it's just Pyro gets outranged by sentry guns pretty damn hard. And something I should bring up, like just for Engineer in general, I'm talking about these matchups like you versus the sentry gun rather than you versus the engineer because it's a similar situation with medic where like if you catch out an engineer you're probably going to kill him unless he's pretty nutty with the shotgun. um but yeah, no, engineer pretty hard counters Pyro, and I'd say heavy does too. Like another example, like he just outranges him, more damage, more range, just in general he's just like tougher and harder to kill, and Pyro doesn't really have great damage output unless you're doing combos or using the panic attack degreaser thing, because I know that's pretty good against heavies apparently. But yeah, no, heavies just more health, more damage, just hard to kill Pyro, just outranges him. Yeah, just all around a counter. And I'm just gonna put medic in this spot, not discussing this. Um, Scout. Scout has an advantage of you over you. It's nowhere near as hard as Engineer, but Scout just like he can just if he gets the flank on you, he'll kill you. But you can chase him off. You can't scare him off with fire. And Afterburn does kill scouts pretty reliably, just because of how low their health is. And yeah, just scout, just a good pick against Pyro. Nothing to reflect. Just instantly, just burst damage you down, dude. Um, you have an advantage against Soldier. Just because air blasting rockets is really easy. You can just basically just shut them down. One of the funniest things you can do is just take like a crocket they shoot at you and just reflect it back at his entire team and just completely piss them all off. It's hilarious. But yeah, honestly, he could be here. I think I discussed this in the Soldier section of the video. But Soldier, like you're not. It's not like a hard counter or anything you have against the Soldier. It's just like a little mechanic that's just like, no, no, you're not gonna shoot rockets at me constantly. But yeah, you can kill Soldier pretty well. But he can also kill you pretty well. And I think I'd put Demo here. It's harder to air blast his projectiles, and his projectiles are much more dangerous when they hit you. And yeah, just all around, like these two just are pretty even in the majority of situations. Demo Man is just such a high damage class that he does fare well against most people. And Sniper honestly could go in hard counter just because, like, I talked about how heavy outranges Pyro. Sniper outranges everybody. He might honestly be up here. I think I'm going to put him here just because if you're, like, up in a sniper's face, you'll kill him almost 100% of the time. But this is, for most classes, you can kill snipers pretty easily if they're focused on something else. But then Sniper has just the danger shield for some reason, which basically turns off fire, and the Girardi, which can extinguish him and his teammates. And let's not forget that you can use the Bushwhacker with the Girardi. Please nerf the Bushwhacker. But who am I kidding? This game's never going to get a balance change. So, yeah, Sniper could be up here. He could be right here. Yeah, just overall, Pyro His matchups are pretty decisive, but he does have some even or like gray area matchups that like you can win, or you will usually win. But yeah, he has hard counters and he has a strong advantage against one class. So yeah. All right. So up next is Demo. Demo is obviously a very high damage class, very good damage output, large splash damage. He's got some really good matchups, but he's only got one hard counter. I already talked about this Scout. Really hard to hit, really hard to kill, or not hard to kill, but hard to hit. He really is just a menace, and he can kill you faster than you can kill him in the majority of situations. And Demo Man is so vulnerable to being bum rushed. Sorry, I just got a freaking DM. Sorry about that. Freaking yeah, Demo Man is so vulnerable to being bum rushed that it's no surprise that Scout counters him pretty hard. And I'd say Spy um has a pretty good chance at killing a Demo Man. Obviously, like Spy, just if you get behind anybody, it's just death for them instantly. But like I said with Scout, he's so vulnerable to being bum rushed that you can even take him out with your revolver pretty well, because like you can have a hard time hitting you and he'll panic at close range. Self damage too. But yeah, and you're a pretty high value target for a Spy anyways. And Sniper, it counters him. Sniper's honestly like the opposite of Medic. By the way, who's going right here? He's like the opposite of Medic. He's gonna be the opposite of Medic on this tier list just because he has a good matchup against everybody. Just another testament to like how Sniper just needs a change in some way, because you should not have a class that's like just able to take out everybody that easily with no pushback. But yeah, Pyro, like I said, he's an even matchup, in my opinion, personally. Just because like he has a hard time with your projectiles, but he can reflect them, and they're just harder for him to reflect. Basically, just Soldier, but harder to kill for Pyro. But yeah, and if you're Demo Knight, I'm not gonna put Demo Knight in this list. But yeah, Pyro hard counters Demo Knight just because Air Blast can shut your shields down. But yeah, Pyro's an even matchup, and I'd say Heavy is pretty even for Demo 2 in a 1v1 scenario, just because like 3 direct pipes might be a little hard to hit sometimes, and Heavy has weapons that like give him damage res like after a certain point of health, so that make it even harder for him to kill. But yeah, Heavy and Demo pretty even matchup. He can kill you fast, you can kill him fast. I don't really. He might be here, he might be here. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Um, I don't remember what I said about. I think they're even. About even. Yeah, this seems right. You can kill him in 2 shots. He can kill you in 2 shots. They're just like both explosive classes. You know, just yeah. And Engineer, obviously, the Engineer's hard counter is the Demo Man. You can just destroy all his buildings without even approaching them. You don't even have to look at your enemy to kill them as Demo Man most of the time. So obviously it'll shut down Engineer if he's around a corner or something. And hit everything too with your sticky bombs. You can destroy all the buildings. The only real counter to the I'm just to bring this up real quick. The only real counter to the Wrangler I can think of, other than a Sapper, is just setting up like 6 or 7 stickies and just blowing it up all at once. But yeah, so Demo Man just really good against Engineer. But yeah, Demo Man's got some. He's got a hard counter. He's got a counter. He's got some pretty balanced matchups otherwise. But yeah. So we're doing Heavy next. Just get some out of the way. Hard counters are Sniper and Spy. His main strength, just having high health, is obviously circumvented. Like these guys can just circumvent his high health and instantly kill him. Like, and the ability to just kill somebody in 1 shot is obviously very strong against somebody with very high health. And he's pretty slow, so it's easy for a Spy to get in there. He has a huge back hitbox, bigger head hitbox, just like all around easy to just 1 shot instant kill. It's Yeah, he was designed for these two to hard counter him. Let me just get medic out of the way. Like I said with most classes, if a medic is healing an enemy heavy and you're doing that heavy will almost always kill you though. But like a medic on his own is pretty easy to kill. It really depends on who the medic is with. Sorry. for all of these matchups, but I will put him in a different tier for one character in specific that we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, um, you have a strong advantage against Pyro just because you outrange him. I already explained this one, and Scout counters you a little bit just because he's fast and he can really get up in your face. I also explained this one. He can really get up in your face and kill you, but you do have a pretty good chance at killing a Scout if you spot him first and you got good tracking. But yeah, you have a slight advantage against the Soldier. Let me check real quick where I put him in my other tier list. Yeah, you have a pretty sizable advantage against the Soldier. Just because you're the only class with more health and more firepower, you could probably put him down here too. Soldier really struggles at killing high health enemies. He's really good at groups of weak enemies, but he will likely, especially if you're being healed by a medic, which is pretty common. Um, you will likely just be able to just kill him in the majority of situations. You can really mess up his rocket jumps. You can really just, yeah, just you have a pretty sizable advantage against Soldier. Either here. He could probably even be an even tier too. Um, I don't know if I want to put Engineer in even or advantage because on one hand, a sentry will completely mess you up, but on the other, you have really good direct firepower for dealing with a sentry pretty quickly, especially if you're being pocketed by a medic. But I think you have an advantage against Engineer. You can honestly just put him here too. But yeah, I'm gonna meet in the middle. Put him here. He's even, sure. Yeah, it really depends on like if you're being healed by a medic, but or like the position of the sentry. You can peek it, not as well as other classes, but yeah, he's an even matchup. And I'd say Demo Man's an even matchup too. Like he can kill you fast, you can kill him fast. You both have the same around the same range. Heavy's good at medium close range. Demo Man's good at medium range, sometimes long range. Um, but yeah, I'd say Demo Man and Heavy, they're both very high damage classes. He can kill you fast, you can kill him fast. It really depends on if you see him first or if he sees you first. But yeah, overall, Heavy's got some pretty bad matchups against these two, but some alright matchups over here, especially against Pyro. So next up is the Engineer. He's actually my main, so dang it, freaking get off. He's at So next up is Engineer. He's actually my main. So I know a little bit more about these matchups than the other one. Obviously, these are my opinions, but really quick, this is the only time I'm gonna do this with Medic, but I'm gonna say Medic is one of Engineer's hard counters. Just because whenever there's an Uber push, it's usually to take out the sentry gun, and you cannot do anything against Uber charge. There's nothing except for the mittens that you can use against an Uber charge. By the way, nerf the mittens. They shouldn't do that to Uber players. But the only thing you can't do anything against an Uber charge except for like air blast them away. But you're not Pyro. But yeah, Engineer versus yeah, the Uber charge breaks stalemates. The sentry gun creates stalemates. So naturally, he's your hard counter. Um, and I'd say Demo Man is the other hard counter to Engineer. Really high damage area, high area of effect. Just freaking destroys the whole nest. It's insane. You can't really do anything against a Demo Man. Sniper counters you, but I mean, a sniper's never really gonna be interacting with you or your sentry gun. Just in the event that you see, I might actually put sniper in even. In the event that you see a sniper or a sniper sees you from across the map, he will kill you. But sniper doesn't really have anything to deal with sentry guns at all. He can snipe them from long range if they're like out in the open, but you shouldn't be putting your sentry gun out in the open. But yeah, sniper I'd say you're even with. Um, yeah. Heavy. I want to put heavy here because he's pretty well equipped to dealing with the sentry gun. High damage, just high direct firepower is really good against a sentry gun. Can take it out pretty dang fast. But you can kill a heavy pretty fast if you're smart about it. If you distract him yourself, then the sentry can take him out. But yeah, heavy counters you a tiny bit. And I'd say spy. Some people want to put spy as like the hardest counter Engineer has, but I actually think medic is. but I'd say spy is a counter engineer. The sapper just disables your buildings, but you have so many tools at your disposal. You have just such good weapons to kill the spy with that he's not really that big of a threat. He's more of just kind of like a nuisance or like an annoyance sometimes. But you can take out a spy pretty fast. Spy, sometimes he's just going to get you, like Uncle Dane said in that one matchup video he made about Engineer. But yeah, a spy's just going to get you sometimes, but you also are pretty well equipped to killing the spy himself. But yeah, sappers are annoying. But yeah, he's just kind of a light counter. Um, soldier's a light counter to you too. I'm actually going to move heavy down. Yeah, I think heavy's about even. Maybe you have an advantage of him. Oh, I don't know. I'll come back to him in a minute. Soldier, kind of like demo, but like less extreme. He can take out your sentry from long distance. The direct hit is pretty dangerous against buildings, and yeah, soldier's just all around pretty tough matchup because you don't really have the firepower or health to deal with him on your own, and the sentry gun is pretty exploitable by him. You can use the Wrangler on him, but I hate the Wrangler, so I don't use it. Um, you obviously hard counter Scout. Just I talked about this earlier. His main ability is to dodge everything, and when your main ability is to not miss anything, that obviously just kills him instantly. Pyro you have an advantage against. The only thing Pyro can really do against you and your gun is reflect the rockets into you, and that is pretty dangerous. It catches me off guard whenever it happens. But that's not very common. And I said I'd revisit heavy. I'm actually going to say you have an advantage against him just because the sentry gun, if you wrangle it, you can outdamage it, you can distract the heavy. You're basically fighting two people at once, so it's hard for the heavy to like focus on both, and you really do got to take out the sentry. But yeah. Yeah, no, I'd say you have an advantage against a heavy. He could be up here, he could be right here. But yeah, engineer, um, pretty bad matchups, but pretty dang good matchups too. So the thing about medic is that honestly everybody hard counters him, so it's kind of hard to make a tier list for him, but I'm gonna try anyways. Um, I just did this with engineer, but yeah, you Uber charge in terms of Uber charge, it's almost always used in casual to just shut down an engineer nest. Um, but it's almost as if it's designed to destroy engineers specifically. But freaking yeah, I'd say that's the only like one I'm gonna put in hard counter. Everybody else hard counters you. Let's be real, especially sniper. I'm gonna put like the real hard counters against medic up here, and just like the other classes that are just good against him. Honestly, engineer could go here too, because medic really is a free kill half the time. But freaking yeah, I'd say this is what it looks like. Sorry about that. Freaking engineer, dude. Like you're designed to freaking destroy him with Uber charge. So we're doing sniper next. Something I want to touch on briefly is how sniper's only hard counter is himself, and I think that's an issue. If the class best equipped to deal with another class is that class, like yourself, I think that's immediately like a flaw, like in game design. Sniper, it's universal knowledge that sniper's a flawed class in this game, so I'm not gonna dwell on it. Everybody knows. Just don't get mad at me when I rate these guys. But yeah, you have an advantage against Pyro, advantage against Demo, advantage against Soldier. All these guys, they're easy to hit. I'd say Spy is the closest thing that counters you, but you have the Razorback, and if you have a Soul, you don't use the Razorback. But unfortunately, most sniper mains don't have souls, so yeah, they use the Razorback. But yeah, you have a gun as Spy, you can kill him. Spy is definitely the easiest way to kill a sniper other than being a sniper yourself. Uh, I'd say Scout is like the second closest thing, just because he's harder for you to hit, but also like you can insta kill him even if he's like at max health, even if you're not charged with a headshot. But yeah, like if he just outmaneuvers your shots, then he can get in there and really mess you up. But yeah, you're even with Scout. You obviously have a strong advantage against Heavy. You obviously have a strong advantage against Medic. And I'm actually going to put Engineer here just because like you don't really interact with him as much as the other classes because he's always like on the back line, kind of like inside somewhere. But whenever you do see an Engineer, you're likely going to kill him. But yeah, no, Sniper has boring matchups. He counters everybody, and his only counter can be turned off with the Razorback, which, like I said, I think is an actually horrible weapon, which you should never use because of how awful it is. Like, imagine Like just being able to turn off another class. Why does sniper have that shield of all classes? Like why? It's annoying. And last but not least, we have spy, who has more interesting matchups than the last two classes we dealt with. Like I said, he has a bit of an advantage against the engineer just because the sapper, he can get in there and mess you up. But engineer has pretty good tools to. I might put him here actually. Engineer can kill you really fast. You can kill engineer really fast and take out all his stuff. But yeah, um, he's pretty hard to deal with sometimes. But if it's just one engineer, it's not usually an issue. You can mess with him. But engineers are usually trained to like keep an eye out for spies. I'd say Scout, like I already talked about this with Scout, but Scout counters you. He can just kind of, he's super fast. He can run out of backstab range. He can maneuver around you. If you manage to get like the lucky trick stab on him, that's like basically all you can do against Scout. But like his speed alone lets him maneuver around the room and basically feel for you until like he bumps into you and finds you and kills you. But yeah, and I'd say Soldier has a tiny bit of an advantage, maybe here, just because splash damage can reveal you pretty well. Actually, no, I'd say you have a little bit of an advantage on Soldier. Actually, no, yeah, he's even. Splash damage can reveal you, but you can kill him instantly. That, like with everybody, duh. And you have a strong advantage against heavy, and you have a strong. No, medic you have an advantage against. I'll talk about medic in a sec, but like heavy, obviously you're designed to counter heavy. And yeah, snipe or spy obviously just counters heavy insta kill. Medic, I'm putting him at advantage just because like if you get caught out, but like you're only with a medic, 1v1 with a spy and medic can actually go in the medic's favor sometimes. Just because their melee weapon is stronger than yours if they're just trying to hit you with it. But like, yeah, you're usually gonna be able to kill a medic. I'd say you have an advantage against demo, more so than soldier because demo man, it's like a more extreme version of soldier. Like the splash damage won't really reveal you unless he's like sticky spamming, and you can avoid his traps easily because you're invisible and just go behind him and get the kill. Yeah. Pyro is your hard counter. Obviously, everybody knows how insane Pyro is against Spy. One flame, like I said, one flame particle on you while you're invisible or disguised, you're basically dead on the spot. It's insane, but you know, I think it's fine for Spy to have a hard counter. Just another thing that keeps the backstab in check. And Sniper, he's the only one I'm gonna put. This is the only time I'm gonna put Sniper in even, just because you can sneak behind him and insta kill him. But if you get behind a sniper and he doesn't notice you, he's usually dead anyways. But I hate like how he can equip the Razorback and shut you off. The Girardi can reveal you, but it's like with Medic, where like up close, there's like you got a good chance of taking him out if he spots you first. But yeah, Spy's matchup, you got your counter, you got your hard counter. Yeah, he's just kind of yeah. Spy's got more interesting matchups than the last two, that's for sure. So yeah, that's every class and their matchups out of the way. I just kind of wanted to talk about that for a minute. But like the final thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna just for fun, I'm just gonna rank everybody like on a tier list, like S to D, because there's no F tier class. But I just just for fun, like just how good I think they are compared to each other. I'd say Pyro or Spy are the weakest class. Either one of them, they're about on the same level. Pyro could honestly be up here, but yeah, Spy's pretty weak. Um, then I'd say above that is Heavy. Heavy's got a lot of weaknesses. I'm actually going to swap places with him. Heavy's got a lot of weaknesses, but he's pretty dang powerful. I'd say he's the most dangerous a class to like approach and kill head on, but he's really prone to being flanked, so you can take him out pretty easily. And Pyro, it's just like he's fun. He's got a lot of issues, but like he's fun. He's got some pretty good options that make him pretty reliable. You usually want a Pyro on your team just because of how helpful they can be for defense. I don't know why Pyro's listed as an offense class. He should honestly be listed as a defensive class or supportive class, similarly to how Demo Man is like more offense oriented. But yeah, and I'd say Engineers down here too. Uh, Pretty powerful, but sentry guns are very exploitable. And I honestly don't have a lot to say about engineer, but yeah, sniper can go up here probably. Just real quick, I'm gonna get these guys out of the way. These three belong here in their same tier. Sniper could be up here. He could be here too. He probably is here. I'd say the strongest class in this tier is Demo Man or Scout. Probably Scout. Just like very powerful. Yeah, just these guys are all generalists that are good in almost any situation. Pyro's a generalist too. He's just like a little bit more of a specialized generalist. And Medic is obviously the strongest class in the game, the only class that can heal others. Even though everybody completely counters him and can kill him easily, he's like, healing and Uber Charge are so powerful, dude. Like, it's insane. But I'm gonna put Sniper down here. I think this is pretty agreeable. I don't know. He honestly could go up here. Dang, friggin' Sniper, dude. What do we do with you? But yeah, this is what I think about each class and their matchups. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please just keep in mind that this is my opinion. I'm obviously not as experienced as some other people, so like just let me know your own takes, and I can probably update this a little bit and go off of what you guys have to say. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.